Essential Bunny TV.
Hey guys, so it's me, Nicolette Mashile, and today I want to talk a little bit about the basics of investing. Now, I've done this video before. I'm redoing it because the sound was sounding absolutely atrocious. I tried to do it at the top of a roof in one of the buildings that we work in, and unfortunately it didn't work out. I really wanted you guys to see the trains, the train network. What's the Sportnet Transnet trains that we have in Braamfontein, but unfortunately the wind was too strong, so you could not actually hear me audibly, right? As I said, I want to talk about the basics of investing. But remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you're looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody who is certified and registered with the FSCA. So, I am back as a co-host on Daily Tata. Daily Tata is a youth talk show that plays every Monday to Thursday at 10:30 to 11:30 on SABC1. And we have been off air for quite some time now. I mean, our last episode, I think live, went out on the 18th, in 2018. But in September sometime, right? So we've had this long, I think 16 months of a production break, and this is because the SABC was going through some financial issues, and we are one of the shows that was put on a production break, and so it's fine, we did that, right? So since that time up until now, I have been unemployed, basically, right? And I have not been waking up early in the morning, so I've been doing things very chilled. All the meetings that I was setting up, I was setting them up after 9 o'clock because you know I'm lazy. So I haven't been waking up because I've kind of been a freelancer that is like determining my own hours. So I get a call to say, listen, you're back on Daily Tata. We're going live on the 3rd of February, and our call time is 7:30. So your sister here decides to put an alarm for 6 o'clock because I'm like, hi, I live in Bryanston. I'm able to get to Braamfontein in less than 15 minutes. Shouldn't be a big deal, right? Yeah, I forgot about the traffic in Johannesburg, especially on a Monday. Now it's a Monday, we're going live. I've got a new co-host, a new male co-host. The day before, we tried to do some rehearsals. We had some technical difficulties, so everybody's panicking, everybody's scared because I've got a new co-host. We gotta come back with a bang because, you know, it's our first show live. And Nicolette is stuck in traffic. And you know, for us females, we gotta get here, makeup needs to be done, wardrobe needs to be checked. Because we've got a live audience, still have to rehearse with our live audience, and then only do we go live. Okay, anyway, big problem. I'm now in traffic, and I'm driving now in traffic. And I noticed one thing, right? People do this funny thing of when you're driving on a road that has got more than 2 lanes. So let's say it's got 3 lanes and we're all going forward, right? What people do is that they are so impatient. They move from one lane to another lane, then to another lane and back to the lane because they think that one lane is probably moving faster and then they faster than the other lane. And then the moment now that lane that you've moved to starts moving slowly, you're already looking to change lanes again, right? And sometimes you forget that there might be a slip off in the lane that's moving faster, and you're not going in the direction of the slip off. So you might change lanes and go into that lane. The people will slip off who need to slip off, but you're still stuck in that traffic again, and the lane is going to slow down again. And it happens quite a lot, and I think a lot of us get so emotional in traffic. Like sometimes somebody wants to come in and they're indicating, and you just won't open for them, and you can see they desperately need to get into the lane that you are at, but you don't even want to open for them because your emotions are so heightened. And sometimes you don't know why somebody wants to get into that lane. They might be actually trying to avoid something, or avoid, you know, an accident or a pothole or whatever that could essentially also help you and shield you from danger. And I find that we do this also when it comes to our money. We try to go one with what the trend is doing, with what everybody's doing. So when I change lanes, because the lane next to me is looking like it's moving faster, the person behind me also wants to change lanes, right? Or the person in front of me also wants to change lanes. But they don't understand why I've made the decision to change lanes. So now all of a sudden we all then change lanes into that one direction, right? That for me is very, very dangerous because you're going with the flow. But also at the same time, if you don't have financial goals for your money, if you don't have investment goals for your money, it means that you are literally flip-flopping half of the time, and any decision or anything that kind of makes you uncomfortable, whether it's your emotional status, so if you don't have enough emotional intelligence, you're going to move your money from some sort of investment into another investment because somebody has told you that they've made money from this specific investment, but they don't tell you under what circumstances they were able to grow their money, right? Let me give you an example. Say for instance, you are saving money for, you want to go on a trip at the end of the year, and your trip is going to cost you 12,000 Rand. And you've decided, you know what, I'm going to save 1,000 Rand every single month for me to be able to go to my trip. You keep putting 1,000 Rand into a savings account. One day you wake up and you realize that, you know what, your money has not even grown even slightly. Maybe it's grown by a couple of 10 Rands. Maybe you now have, let's say you've been saving for 5 months, you've got 5,100. And then you find out from somebody else that they put their money into, they gambled with 25 Rand and they made double their money, right? Or they gambled with 25 Rand and they made 15,000 Rand on a site like Betway, Sporting Bet, whatever it is. Now you are like, I've been putting 1,000 Rand every single month. Imagine if I put 5,000 Rand into a sporting bet or a sports betting platform and I could double my money. It means that I don't no longer need to save every single month. But you forget that that person might know sports better than you. Whatever sport they're betting on, be it soccer, be it rugby, they know it better than you. And also it's a game of luck, because anything can happen. So you're trying to get into the quick car to get to your goal, or the quick lane to get where you're going, but you forget that other people have faster cars than you. Other people's cars move quite more quickly than yours to get into the next change lanes. Your car maybe still needs you to gear down, do all sorts of things just for you to change lanes. Whereas some people are driving automatics, my friend, their car just zooms in and out of lanes. That is where we become problematic, because our circumstances are not the same. But also at the same time, we don't have the same risk appetite. We don't have the same risk appetite. So while I might be changing lanes and zooming in and out because I'm trying to get to the front as fast as I can, you might not be able to because you're afraid of changing lanes. Now you change a lane, you do it too slowly, you panic, boom, somebody hits you. Somebody hits you because you don't have the same risk appetite as everybody else. So it's very, very important for us to remember that emotions play a very big part in terms of our finances and how we actually run our finances ourselves. I'll give you another example in the investment world. So let's talk about you investing in the market. And I think I've given this cow theory before. Let's say you are investing in the cow market, right? And you are contributing 1,000 Rand every single month to buy into the cow market. Let's say one cow is 500 Rand. So with your 1,000 Rand, you are buying 2 cows every single month, right? But you are buying your cows at 500 Rand for a cow. Now, if something is to happen and the cow market drops in value, right? The cow market drops in value, now cows are going at 100 Rand. What a lot of people do is they panic. They've got this panic mentality. They're like, oh my goodness, cows are now cheap. Cows have lost their value. Let's move our money to something else. No, Paula Mtawiyashisa, relax. That is not the time for you to be panicking. In fact, that is the time for you to be celebrating. Why? Because although your market has lost its value, the market will correct itself. Of course, there will be anomalies like Steinhoff, like Brent. But generally, what happens in the market is that the market will self-correct. So a cow that you are buying at 100 Rand will go back to the original price of it being 500 Rand. It just means that supply and demand, something has happened and the cow market has lost its value for that specific time period, right? Now the problem is you panic. So now let's say you are 3 months into this investment, you've already bought 2 cows in the first month, 2 cows in the second month, 3 cows in the third month. And in the third month, the value of cows drops. So you've got 6 cows that you paid 3,000 Rand for, right? Now the cow market drops, cows go to 100 Rand. You now want to sell. You're selling at 100 Rand. You bought them at 3,000, now you're selling them at 600 Rand only because you are selling at the wrong time, because you are panicking, right? But what you should essentially be doing is at that specific point, you should be buying more. So put in that 1,000 Rand again and let it buy you 10 cows now because they're going at 100 500 rand. Now you bought 10 cows. Let's say now the next month the cow market self-corrects and it goes back up to 500. Now you have 16 cows, but you've only paid 4,000 rand for them. 16 cows at 4,000 rand, right? But the cow value or each cow is back to being 500 rand. So how many cows do you actually have in value? 16 multiplied by 500 rand. I mean, it doesn't take a maths genius to figure out that that's real money. But a lot of us, because we're driven by emotions, the moment something like that happens, we panic and we sell. And the biggest basic when it comes to investing is sell high and buy low. Sell high, buy low. But generally, when the market hits a low, a lot of people run away from it. Now, I always say to you guys, and I've said this many times, investment vehicles are the same. We all have access to the same investment vehicles. Whether you're pink, whether you're blue, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're brown, whether you call yourself dark white, whether you call yourself Piet Koekemoer or Albertus van der Stonder, or you are Sergio Gonzalez, whether you are Jabu, Mahuza, we all have access to the same investment vehicles. The only difference is, one, the fees that you pay, and two, the person that's giving you financial advice or investment advice or yourself. Because that person still has to have the same emotional intelligence when it comes to money and investing. Because at the end of the day, if they panic, you panic. And when you panic, money panics. And it goes away. It goes away. So it's very important that when you want to get into the investment journey, you remember the simple basics. Buy low and sell high.